Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Little Boat Adventures. This is where we kind of left off on our last episode. We had been towed by the lifeboat back into Bangor Marina. So, once we had tied back up to the pontoon, we decided to have a look around the gearbox and engine. Just lifted up the cockpit sole here. Just get down in and had a look around at the linkages and levers to make sure everything was okay.
You're on one?
Well, make sure everything looked okay.
So whenever you're ready, look.
Like I always say, I've no real electrical, mechanical kind of background, so I'm just looking for the abnormal really. So couldn't see anything obvious that was wrong. So what we did then is just started the engine, and it was running okay. So we just popped the engine into forward gear because that's when the engine was stalling. We know now it was because of the rope around the prop, but we just wanted to check that there wasn't any problems when we put it back into gear. And then we just nipped at the back there and made sure the engine was pumping out water okay. And then we wanted to make sure that the boat was actually driving forward, so we checked the bow spring there and there was tension on it, so we could, from that we kind of thought, yeah, you know, the propeller and the propeller shaft is all okay. But just to be on the safe side, we popped the GoPro underneath, and Kelly put the boat into gear, and everything seemed okay there with the propeller. So we just tried it in forward gear and reverse gear, and everything looked okay. What I'm showing you just here is the rope that had actually caught around the propeller. You can see the scuff marks there of where it's been pulled, and then where the rope is kind of scored there. So that was the culprit, but it was down to my stupidity.
Lesson learned. A very serious lesson learned. Never to be repeated again.
So we've kind of been hiding out here in Bangor Marina. We haven't had the opportunity, the weather windows, to get over to Scotland, so we're just gonna give it a miss and head back to Strangford Lough, back to our cruising club. The winds and the weather's just so changeable. Every time we're looking at it in the evening, the next day looks good, and then the next day comes and the winds have changed in strength, the weather's changed, so we just don't want to risk it. We're going to head back, like I say, back to Strangford Lough. The winds are still around force 4, force 5. We'll get the boat ready and we'll set off. The wind is pushing us onto the pontoon, so it might be tricky enough to get off, as we just have to reverse out, but I think there's plenty of room around us, so hopefully we'll not hit anything. So day 2 trying to leave Bangor Marina. Let's hope today is less eventful than what yesterday was. successfully made it out of the marina, and we're heading down the Irish Sea, heading south and down the Irish Sea towards Strangford Lough. So far we had some nice winds, 10 to 15 knots. They were kind of close haul with that, and tide, so we were averaging about 6 knots, which was great. But as we turned round to head south, then the wind is kind of hitting us on the nose. Now the weather forecast up until this morning was saying that the winds, when we turned south, should have been kind of coming from our southwest, so we should have still been getting good wind for sailing, but it's actually coming from the south now, so we've just pulled the head sail in and started the engine again, just to try and make a bit of speed and time up with the lack of wind. So we need to get down to Strangford before the tide starts ebbing, because the current's too strong. We wouldn't be able to get up into the loch if that was the case. So we need to make it down then during flood tide. When we came this direction the other night, it was getting quite dark and you couldn't really make out some of the landmarks, so I'll show you them now. So we come up past this way, and that's Donegal Harbour. And this is the Copeland Islands where we anchored. We can see it today, obviously, but coming up the other night, it was, for a while it was just a silhouette, and then as the sun had set, then there was nothing, we couldn't see anything, we just relied on our navionics to guide us into the anchorage. So the weather forecast was to be sunny this morning, nice winds, like I say, from the southwest. You just have to look out the window and see what the weather's like. You can't really trust the weather forecast, can you? But so far it isn't too bad a morning. If we could just get the wind to shift a bit for us, it would be perfect. So the headwind's only 15 to 17 knots, but it's wind against tide. You just see how lumpy it is here, and we've got the engine going, just trying to power us through these waves. So we've headed south down the Irish Sea. We're just about to turn right up into Strangford Lough, and this southern cardinal marker just kind of marks our turning point down to the loch. So we're just get the sails up again, and we head on into the wind. Woo! Got wind against tide, but we're round about the entrance to the loch where there's normally rough water because you have overfalls here, so it's quite it is quite choppy. We're getting a lot of water over the bow. Like I said, once we turn up into the loch, it may not be just as bad. Hoping it's not as bad, but we're just about to turn now. It was at this point then we turned to starboard up into Strangford Lough. It was a bit rolly because we were getting those breaking waves just on the port beam, but we were able to get a bit of head sail out, and with the flooding tide we were able to hit a whopping 11 knots heading up the loch back into Strangford. And that was us safe and sound back in the loch. Join us next time on Little Boat Adventures when we set out on our last adventure of 2020, setting sail for the town of Portaferry. where we encounter some turbulent water, but get to enjoy a pint of the black stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. For other ways to support our channel and the production of these videos, there are some links in the description below.